during the 60s, when I was in the service, you know, the Vietnam War was going on, and finally we got tired of DM, who was our hand-picked guy in South Vietnam. And finally our government said, well, he's not doing a good enough job, he's not fighting them enough, and we need to get rid of him. So our CIA helped to get rid of him and actually kill him. And everything went downhill from there. So in a way, it's somewhat similar because we're upset with Bouchard. And we don't like him anymore because he's not achieving anything. And yet, you know, we only seem to have two choices in this country. We either pick a puppet and support him and send him all our money, or if he doesn't do what he wants, and we disapprove of it, then we start bombing them. You know, why don't we have another alternative with the people of the world? The advice that the founders gave us. Why don't we talk to people and trade with people, travel with them, have follow-up diplomacy, and not pretend that we own them? There is a third option, and the third option is following the Constitution, using common sense, taking the advice of the Founding Fathers, and saving a lot of money in the meantime. Well, there's quite a few reasons why we should stay out of war, but definitely we should never be involved in preemptive war. This country now has, you know, started a war against a country that was not a good country and not a good leader, but less chaotic than it is today over there. But of course we went into Iraq under false pretenses. Weapons of mass destruction, participated in 9/11, and all these threats and intimidations that if we didn't go in there, our national security would be threatened. And yet, what did we end up with? We've spent nearly $1 trillion, and there's no intent to leave. The other candidates won't even take off the table, you know, a nuclear first strike against Iran. They're not talking about closing the bases down. We have an embassy there bigger than the Vatican, at least as large as the Vatican. That means that we plan to stay there forever. What I'd like to do is change that and tell the people we're tired of running your life. What we want to do is come home and let you take care of your problems. You develop your self-determination. You don't need us telling you how to live and what to do. Some people would say, well, that's different. That we can't do that because we got to protect our oil. When did it become our oil? You know, how much good did it do? We spent this nearly $1 trillion over there protecting our oil, which was part of the inflationary problem, part of the reasons the inflation was up, that raises prices. But we went over there, and the Iraqis now produce half as much oil as they used to produce. And now oil went from $27 a barrel up to $97 a barrel. I say that's not a very successful foreign policy. You know, in medicine, if you keep doing the wrong thing, you know what happens to the patient. They don't do well. You have to change course and wise up. Foreign policy, we make mistakes and keep doing something wrong and it's hurting us. We keep doing the same thing over and over again, and we've been doing that too long. And it hasn't been just this administration. It's been going on for many, many decades. That's why we need a change in foreign policy. We need to understand why it's to our advantage. Every great nation, every great empire has always been brought to their knees, not by a foreign adversary, not for military reasons. They are brought to their knees because of financial reasons. And that is what we're facing today. A financial crisis in this country because we overspend at home, we overspend overseas, we have less friends than ever before, more enemies, and not only are we in Iraq, we're in Afghanistan threatening Iran, Turkey, we pay them to be our buddies, and they're using our weapons and our complicity in them attacking northern Iraq. I mean, you talk about chaos, and now, if we don't change our tune, we're going to be very much involved in Pakistan. Every question today was, what would you do? How are you going to do? How are you going to handle this? How fast will you go in there? What are you going to do? Well, why don't we just let them deal with that? This war is going to spread. I'm seriously concerned that when it spreads, it gets out of control, there's going to be a military draft. We don't need a military draft again.